Oh, hey guys, I didn't see you there. This is Sean McGarry coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the music salon where great things happen. And today I want to talk about leveling up your blues game. I'm going to make you a better blues player today, not tomorrow, not this evening, right now. So grab your guitar and let's have a little fun. And today we're going to talk about, we're going to play over a swing blues. Now this is just blues, right? You know. But this track I'm playing over, which, by the way, all these materials and tabs will be in my Patreon page coming out, fingers crossed, in the next couple of weeks, and I'll have more information about that, how to access and stuff. But I'm excited about that. So let's dive into this, and I'm playing just a couple of basic chords here, some blues chords, right? So you're playing your F shape A right here at the 5th fret, and when you add and I'm going to do another lesson on this with this kind of swing rhythm stuff, right? But the A6 kind of gives it that the swing sound. Versus more of a 7th chord. They both work. They both sound great. But I always associate this sound with kind of a swingy, more jazzy, sophisticated, bluesy sound. So rambling on as usual. Lots of coffee this morning. So A6 is the first chord, and some sort of D or D9. And then you got your 5 chord E9. So I'm not going to go over all that. You guys should know that. And today the topic and the theme is how to think not like a guitar player. Okay. So especially in this kind of music. If you can find this little pocket I'm going to show you, you can really get off to the races quickly. And you want to think like a horn player. So now we are not guitar players, we're going to be horn players. So I'm going to show you something that might seem almost too basic, right? But I guarantee it's not. So I loop this little, just me playing guitar here. And you're going to play along with me. I'm going to show you what's going on here. Let's just listen for a second. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tap my foot. Don't play. Okay, that's a mistake. Everybody just wants to jump and start playing. That's the worst thing you can do. You gotta hear this. If your head's not doing this, you're in the wrong spot. Now watch this. Take our root note A. Space. Now I'm thinking like a horn player, Right? So we're horn players. Now stay with me, I promise. Watch this. Space. Maybe pick it up. Okay, right? Now next we'll add some more notes to it. Now, what I did there is, and this is more of a major sound. So that first thing again was just like thinking like a horn player. If you can do that, and then you just find different spots. You're off to the races once you have that feel. And I'm adding some notes now. Now you're thinking more of the major sound for a minute. Like, this kind of style of sound to me sounds more majory, okay? Even though we can interfuse the minor with it. So I'm just playing like, I'm going. So if you're not really familiar with this stuff, you might be saying, well, that note's not in the minor pentatonic, and you would be correct. It's not. So if we play like the blues scale, right? You can think of that as the 6th, or that's the way I think of it. So you're just adding that note to the minor pentatonic, which is really just your major, like if I go, let's see here. And then there's minor. So I'll talk about that more in a second. So again, now we're going to add this note too. I did a lesson a couple of weeks ago where I talked about following the 4 and 5 chords. So let's review that real quick. So when you're playing inside of here, any box, where I'm going to stay in a key of A for right now. Here's your 1 chord, or let's say right here, 1, 4, 5. So now we can add those little horn stabs that we're doing on guitar with going to the 4 and 5. So if I did, let's see. chords. I think I actually missed it. Maybe I'm not sure. I was having so much fun, but I want to hit D and then or E then down to D, right? Okay, so that's the next idea. And then we want to think about maybe playing this in different spots. So another way to really kind of sound sophisticated bluesy is to play now your F sharp minor. We're going to keep the same idea, but we're going to go up to here. So it's funny how these things can trick the ear a little bit. So if I play the relative minor, which is F sharp minor, over the A blues, right? Remember our little cheat sheet. It's always 3 frets back. So if you're in A major and you want to find the relative minor, you know, it's the 6th degree of the scale. But quick thinking, just go 1, 2, 3 frets back, make that minor, and that's your minor pentatonic. Now here's a cool riff that I learned years ago, and it's simple as can be, but for some reason it was a game changer. I mean, it's ridiculously simple. I'm almost embarrassed to show you. But it's, instead of starting that minor pentatonic on F sharp, I saw this guy go like this. So he started that riff on A, but went up to the F sharp blues like. And to me, it just sounded really uptown kind of sounding. So now we're up here in this box. Well, look, here's my A up here. You should know this octave trick, right? Going back, there's your octave. So now let's go like this. We'll play that same groove up here. We'll go. Space. The riffs start flowing. So again, I'm just finding these little horn stabs in different spots of the neck. A couple other ways I like to start this kind of bluesy thing, the style. Again, these are all like riffs that can really break you out of this pentatonic prison that we sort of get into when we're playing bluesy stuff. So what I do is now I think of this note, but from this direction. Instead of thinking right here in that box that everyone plays out of, well, let's think of that same note, but we're, you know, a step up. So if I go, and you can think of that as major pentatonic. Look, and you know, you don't have to think about that. Like, I mean, you should, but you could also like just think, okay, well, here's a riff landing on the root note A. So if I go. Right, it's a nice way to start off a blues. So if I go, let's see here. Space, right? And the whole time I'm playing, man, I'm just thinking like a horn player. You know, I'm going to say it a bunch here today, but like it's so true. Like when you think of not a guitar player, and I try and work at that all the time because it's hard not to think like a guitar player. You know, you see a lot of instructors talk about learning piano and vocal melodies, and I'm a big proponent of that as well. So that's another idea, just starting up in that little box here, which is really just major, right? And we just keep working our way up, man. We find this idea, this riff, this horn riff, these stabs all up the neck, okay? So now I'm going to go up to, imagine that. I couldn't go through a lesson without saying try it or caged, right? But it is true, you know. When I first learned all this stuff, it was just scales. Now I'm thinking chords, okay? So our mindset has to change. We've got to think chords and scales to really elevate our playing to the next level. So now I'm thinking, okay, right, C-shaped A up here. Here's my root. And then up here, you know, you got your B.B. King box. You got your... Right, and there's a million lessons on the B.B. King box. I'll probably do one. Why not? But you know, it's this sound. But it's the major, right? And it's right up here in that triad of that box. So again, if I'm going, and I can even play like I could play like a chords thing off that. Right? to find these little ideas that we can add to our vocabulary. I mean, again, I can play this stuff all day long because it just sounds so cool. At least I think it does. Oh, sorry. There's a riff, you know. I love that. Da 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 da. And again, I'm thinking like a horn player. I'm thinking like a whole horn section doing that. You know, picture that in your head. You gotta have a cigarette in one hand and you're doing this, bopping back and forth, right? But there's your riff. Work on your different like phrasing, like maybe slides, hammer-ons, pull-ups. Okay, so anyway, that's an idea, but I'm going back up here. And by the way, when I do this shape, you know, I'm always aware of my flat 7. So that's right there. I want to have that in my back pocket. But so now I'm playing like these riffs, you know. Watch this. I want to walk up to that A note. You got to know these notes all over the neck. And I say it all the time. You're not going to learn a fretboard. You know, as a matter of fact, I refuse to have the notes in my studio. Just me personally, at my music salon. You know, every teacher has those notes on the thing. This is just me, in my opinion. You can flip me off or tell me to F off in the comments, but I think it's dumb because you're just looking at a piece of paper and trying to memorize these notes. It's like that's not the way to memorize it. You got to play this stuff, and you got to put it into real. You know, this is work, and you got to put the work in. So, you know, looking at the thing is fine, and I don't buy into any of this stuff. No offense to anybody out there, but I always see these courses. You know, learn the fretboard, master it, memorize it in 5 minutes. It's like, man, to me that's garbage. That's just my opinion. This is the real way to learn it. We're doing these riffs, and you're taking one key at a time. Look at this, A. Just do this. You know, find your octaves. Right? That's how we learn the fretboard. Okay. I'm sorry I get passionate about this stuff because I see it a lot, and I don't want you guys wasting your time. And maybe it's not, but again, I'm entitled to my opinion, and that's my opinion. So follow me to the promised land. Now watch this. So here we go. We're taking that riff, and I'm landing on that A because I put the work in, and I know that that's now an A note up here. Okay, so I'm going to play a little... sorry. So I did that riff. And now, you know, I'm sure everybody knows this lick, but the B.B. King stab, right? Okay, that's a go-to. And you hear the greats do it. Everybody from B.B. to John Mayer to Stevie, everybody plays this riff for a reason. And you just hit the A note, right? I didn't learn this note from looking at a poster on the wall. I learned it from playing the guitar. So here's that note. And man, that's a horn line. So you could do nothing more than this. Watch this. That's saying something. Maybe double stop. So you get the idea. You know, those little stabs are awesome, man. Like I said, I mean, it's a go-to. If you're a blues player here, everybody play it for a reason. So now you're up in that box. And, you know, that's the BB box where you can play all your nice little... But I'm always resolving on an A note, you know, if I'm just riffing around. This kind of stuff, watch this, like, again, thinking like a horn player. These little horn lines, you know, and this. That's my favorite way. I use this every time I play some sort of bluesy rock thing. And again, I don't know where these riffs came from, but the first time I heard it as a kid was Jimmy Page, so I call this the Jimmy Page riff. And that's kind of a good idea too, is like, you know, you hear a riff for the first time, then you associate it with a player, and then you kind of, for me, it helps me memorize things more. If I go, oh, that's a Jimmy Page riff, versus just like some random scale you learn. So the Jimmy Page riff is, right, and there's a million ways to end it, but the riff is basically, again, off your triad. Here's A. You know, you're really playing the seventh sound, but look, here's your A7, here's your A. So that's really like a sus note if you go like that, but you're going, again, that's how I visualize getting here, is I think of that A shape, the D-shaped A, I put the pinky down, and I just think of, resolving back to A. There's a million ways to do that. You can do it all over the neck. So I'm going to stop right here because I want you guys to practice that, what we talked about today. Just thinking like a horn player. You're not a guitar player. We're thinking real simple. We're doing this little, you know, I'm going to do it one more time. Start off as simple as you can. Check it out. Space, right? Add more. So, simple concept goes a long way. A lot of the greats will do that, and I love to play that style. I hope this helps you guys out a bit. As always, thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate if you made it this far. That's awesome. You know, it helps me out tremendously to hit that subscribe button. We're growing every day. I say it every lesson. We're building a great worldwide community. I'm really meeting some awesome people. Man, people are sending me emails and just compliments and just I'm making friends, man. I mean, that's what music is about, right? You make friends. That is the one thing music can bring people together in this world. And Lord knows we need it right now, right? So we're going to play some happy blues today and positive thoughts. So anyway, guys, as much as I say always, thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. And we'll hit that like button. We'll see you next time.